What's going on, y'all? This is Comms Engineering, and this is part 2 of the voice assistance app developed in Xcode for iOS devices. Picking up where we left off, we have the playSound for the time of day. We've got all of our recordings in the asset catalog. Now we just need to make another function to actually play that sound with the NSDataAsset class. So NSDataAsset class allows you to access an object from a data set stored in the asset catalog. We've already done this where we take our recordings and put it in the asset folder, so we're good on that. So it creates and initializes an instance of NSDataAsset with your dataset's name. Remember, the dataset's name is sound file name, the one that we've here. Here's the dataset name. So then it uses data property to access your audio file in the asset catalog shown in listing 1. So here it says import AV foundation, which we've already imported in our Xcode project. Here we have an instance of AV audio player. The question mark indicates that it's an optional instance. So basically you can either have null or kind of like a must-have value. Null means that it doesn't have anything inside. No value, it's pretty much set to 0 kind of deal. Here we're going to do function play sound or play dataset name and the type of it. Here's what's going to be what we use. So in the function we're going to use if let asset NSDataAsset name. The dataset is going to be sound file name, and in this conditional statement you do. So we're pretty much going to use this. So try AV audio player. It's got a built-in module with .data. Fetch that, play it. Simple. Pretty simple, so let's go ahead and do that. So inside, we'll do if let asset equal to NSAsset name, and it's going to be sound file. Perfect. Now, curly brace, and inside of this conditional statement, we'll do another curly brace, not DPO, do player equal to try the AV audio player. Let's do this one, and this is going to be asset, calling this asset.data. Second argument is going to be file type hint. Yes, it's going to be a string. However, this is where you have to take a look at your audio files to see what kind of extension it is. Maybe it's an MP3, a WAV file, or an M4A. I think mine is M4A, so I'm going to leave it at that. And then after that, player.play. So that's all you need. However, if you want to check if it is working, you can do print. Once you actually start the app, you do print playing sound, do the backslash parentheses sound file name. And then after the do, you got to do a catch, let error as NS error. So if it doesn't play, you're going to need this error statement saying playing sound. Error dot localized description. Localized description is pretty much returns a complete sentence which describes why the operation failed. In many cases, it could be due to your permission, which we actually need to enable certain permissions in the Xcode, so I will definitely touch up on that. But for now, we'll go here. Oh yeah, so else, we do definitely need an else sound file. Let's do sound file. Let's just make it where it says that it doesn't exist. So but by the way, the reason that this for the backslash and parentheses, it takes many characters and values, puts it together, and so that's why I can change color like that, indicating that you're putting in a variable, this one, rather than just a string. This is also in Python too. The printf function formats and prints a series of characters and values to the standard output std out. So yeah, it's great. Pretty important if you want to print out text and values all together. It won't print money though. I wish it did. So after that, close parentheses, you just do not found, save it. So that should be the play sound function. Now that we're done with the play sound function, we're going to have to go to good old Bluetooth and set up the audio session. So under that function, we'll do another function called setup audio session. Functions, you can name whatever you want, by the way. So just whatever makes you remember what the function does just by looking at the name, that would be pretty ideal. So we'll start off with let session. So throughout this function, the word let in Swift means that it's going to be a constant value, which means it doesn't change throughout the entire function. And we're going to set it as AV audio session shared instance, because we are going to be sharing the instance from asset. So down here in the next function, we have setup audio session, we have a do, and this is what is known as a do while loop. So we have let session is equal to the AV audio session imported dot shared instance. Now we're going to do a try to do something, right? Try to work something out inside of the function, and then it's going to catch it if it doesn't work. So this is called the try catch. Right now we're going to set up the try. To do try session dot set category, do dot playback, comma mode, colon dot default, comma options dot mix with others. And then you do another try. You can add another one onto it too, and just do session dot set active if the set active is equal to true or on or whatever. So in the do while loop, we have let session equals AV audio session dot shared instance. If you click on that, all it is returning a singleton instance, and it's fetching that. So it's doing try session dot set category, which in the Apple documentation, we're setting the session category, mode, route sharing policy, and options. We don't have to do the AV audio session dot whatever, because we've already declared that as session right here. Under that, here is our building block AV audio session setup. Now, we're gonna lay out our conditional statement. So we'll do if session, too many s's, session dot is other playing. Oh, two little s's playing, which is a Boolean value that indicates whether another app is playing in the audio. Basically, curly brace, enter. All this is gonna do is just print something saying that session is active, other audio is playing. So it's basically checking if another audio is playing, and we'll do else. Enter, print. Again, no conditional statement needed, because if it was an else if, we would need that, but not here. So we're just gonna do audio is in session, no other audio is playing. Now under that, we're gonna add an observer. So we're gonna add an observer to detect changes in audio route. Basically just kind of like from the app to the Bluetooth, the route that we're going to deal with. And we're just going to have kind of like a notification thing that can pop up. Notification center is what it's called. And we're going to do dot default, which is the mode up here. And we're going to do dot add observer. And pretty much adds an entry to the notification center to call the provided selector with the notification. So we got to add something called a selector. Now let's do parentheses. And inside of these parentheses, we're going to do selector, hashtag selector, handle. And inside of this selector, it's pretty much going to select a function that we need to make after this setup audio session. So this next function that we're going to make, pretty much just going to be our route handling from Bluetooth to the AV audio session. Just call it handle route change. And then the proper syntax for that function would be parentheses, underscore, and then that. Then we'll do a comma, enter name. So the name, let's just call it AV audio session dot route change notification. There we go. So this is an NS notification dot name already built into this Apple library. So it's a notification that system posts when its audio route changes. And it's pretty much a built-in class that lets you post notifications about when the audio route changes. So that's set as the name. And so we actually have to finish it off with a catch. So do, and then right here, catch, print, say something like failed to set up audio session. And you can even include a descriptor by doing semicolon, backslash, parentheses, good old error dot localized description, and it'll retrieve the localized description for the error. Perfect. See the errors. So it's saying missing arguments for the parameters number 1. Oh, we just need an object for the selected parameters, because this dot add observer, if you saw earlier, it needs 3 parameters, selector name object. We don't really need to do anything with it being an object. It's already a published object property. It's not doing anything right now, so it's just going to be nil. All right. And that should clear up. Expected separator. Oh, and you do need to separate the parameters with a. So that is the setup audio session. Go down here. And now we're going to make the handle route change function. So in the documentation, the overview of the route change function is pretty much set to occur when the system adds or removes audio input or output. And it can occur for several reasons. Here are headphones connected to Bluetooth, unplugging USB audio, focusing mainly on the Bluetooth for this app. Down here, we have a similar setup to the setup audio session function that we had, and pretty much getting the default notification center instance as we have done inside of the Xcode right here. And we're adding an observer to it, just like over here with a bunch of parameters. And here we can see a handle route change function. And it's got this thing called @objc, which is Objective-C, the old Apple language. Now, the reason we need this is usually selectors are an Objective-C concept. Right here, you can see the selector and the hashtag selector. And this is just going to be the handle route change function. So we will need to use this. Now, if we go down here, you can see the rest of the code inside of the function. We've got 3 constants. One for the user info, setting the notification type to the user info. Here we got a reason value. And also we got a switch case statement. So here it says switch over the route change reason. And it's got 2 cases, new device available and old device available. So we'll have a pretty similar function to this template right here. Now, if you look here, we have let session equals AV audio session dot shared instance. We've already got this in our setup audio session class. So we actually don't even need to use this. Now, with these 3 constants set, we're going to be adding a route description constant, call it like route description or something. But basically here, when it says when a new device becomes available, you ask the audio session for its current route. Determine whether the audio output is currently routed, and it will return an AV audio session route description. So let's go ahead and do that. We're here. Here's the catch, the end of the catch. In the content view model, we're outside of the class content view model, as you can see indicated right here. Let's just go ahead and copy it over. So Unfortunately, this doesn't have a copy button, so you have to highlight it. Ugh. So that one, so yeah, just the handle route change. Great. Okay, that is set. Here, we're switching over to route changes, case.new device available. So let's go ahead and remove the headphones connected in. We can keep the let session equals. Go ahead and make a conditional statement and make a new constant called route dis equals to session dot shared instance. So it says this class method is defined on AV audio session and may not be available for this context. So that means we cannot use the constant session and just have to use this right here, put it there, take it off. So AV audio session dot shared instance dot current route. So again, what is the current route of the input audio ports? Outputs dot first. So the first element of the connection. Let's go ahead and do curly brace enter and do another if conditional statement route description. Here we're gonna define the port type. This is a A2DP. A2DP is advanced audio distribution profile. Stereotype is an output only profile intended for higher bandwidth audio use cases such as music playback, which is exactly what we need. And the other one is the hands-free profile device called Bluetooth HFP. So route description port type is going to be equals two equal signs. This is not a Boolean. The two equal signs are going to be used for comparing types instead of just values. And here we're going to do Bluetooth A2DP. Then type out these two. These two lines mean or. So the port type is going to be either Bluetooth A2DP or route description dot port type is equal. And the second one is going to be Bluetooth HFP. Bluetooth HFP. This is an input-output connection to a Bluetooth hands-free profile device. There's all different types of ports for the Bluetooth HFP. We've got things such as car audio, USB audio, Thunderbolt. So we go back here and do Bluetooth HFP. A2DP actually has better quality than the HFP, but HFP allows for like phone calls. So now, under the Bluetooth HFP, if this whole conditional statement is bound to be true, either a A2DP type or a HFP type, then BlueCon, which is our Bluetooth connection state variable, set at paused. I'm going to set that equals to playing. That is basically going to update it to playing once the route has been configured. So that is the case for the new device. Now, let's move on to the old device. This is set up. All we need to do really in this case is just set our state set back to paused. That's all we need to do really, and the default state is just going to break the switch case statement. Oh, and we need to do another curly brace here. Okay, so we have a couple of errors here. Switch must be exhaustive. That is just a matter of deleting this curly brace in between the last case statement and the default. And right, so here it says it cannot find the handle route change in scope. Well, we have it right here. All the curly braces are in the correct spot for our function. So let's go back into the documentation and see what's up. So right here, it says there's a self. It is a postfix expression to access type as a value. Some class dot self returns some class itself. So self dot. As you can see, the value type of contentView.contentViewModel has no member of this actual function because we have to add this underscore right here, space, and that will actually detect it. Since it's not actually going to display everything that's in the actual code, we're going to need to make another struct. Now, the way it was earlier will not align to a state object. We actually need to make another struct for this right here, the content view model. Earlier one won't work, not have any properties in that struct. Let's go ahead and do struct content view previews, content view underscore previews type preview provider property. Inside of this, we'll do set a variable sum static, because it was asking for a static var previews sum view. Perfect. And content view is fine. Dot environment object, content view model class. That should be good. Okay, let's look over this. When we're aligning, let's look over our curly brace placement. After the struct is done, we have an error saying content view model is not in scope. And what that is our class that we made here. Now let's see where we put, that's our class bracket. This is for the struct of the content view, which is at the very beginning. So that is actually the problem. We don't want the class inside of the struct. We want it outside. The struct should only end right here. So I'm just gonna add another curly brace. There we go. And this needs to be gone. Perfect. Now we can see our canvas again. So now we navigate to left-hand side of the panel and drop down button config. Now we're gonna work on the main function. So this is what's gonna run the entire thing. This is not actually going to work because you actually need to create an instance here of the content view model class as an observable object too. Not just there, but in the main one as well. So inside of this, we'll do @state object private var content, same exact names, model content view model. Inside of the variable body, so I'm seeing window group, content view, and then same exact environment, object, content view, model property. And that should be it. Oh, sorry, environment, object. Okay, perfect. So in the next video, I'm going to be setting up an iOS device by connecting it to the laptop and actually run the code on the app for it to actually be functional. I'll see you guys in the next video.